Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates. So I have I have missed a lot of episodes for you guys. So I'm just gonna do like a quick overview of what I've missed. There's some storylines that I'm gonna miss in the process because the last episode that I record was I think 69 to 73, and we're now on episode 118. So forgive me. But we'll talk about the main things that have happened. And I will say on this show, the storylines really move fast because I think the last thing that I recorded was around the time when the guy who was stalking Martin showed himself to Martin. And at this point in the show, that storyline has already been wrapped and we've moved past that already. So they move pretty fast on this show. So it's like a lot, and I'm not used to that because like on General Hospital, it could take months, years for storylines to wrap up. They'll have umbrella effects, and some of them will just take that long to happen. Same with YNR, it takes forever. But for this show, they like really move past it. So since I'm talking about Martin, we'll go ahead and just start with his story. So basically, we find out that the guy who's been stalking Martin um, was so the secret that he's been holding this whole time, he's been having nightmares and all of this is because about 2 years ago, prior to the show starting 2 years ago, him and Vernon were at a function and they were going back home and they were riding through a sundown town. And if you black, you know what a sundown town is. So they were riding through the town and they had a flat tire. So Martin got out the car to fix a flat, and then two guys show up in a pickup truck and they basically try to um, rob them or kill them or do whatever, because it's a sundown town and black men. So they go for Vernon. Like I think one of them hit Vernon, if I'm not mistaken, and Martin hit that guy over the head with a tire iron. That guy ends up passing away, and Martin beats the other guy. He beats him so bad that he gets disfigured. So they cover it up. So the all the people that were in on the cover up was they called Bill because he was going to be the lawyer. So he paid the guy off. They called Ted. Ted was the one who, because Ted does plastic surgery, so he changed the guy's face because again Martin beat him so badly. So Martin didn't know that his dad was in on it. Of course, they called Elon and Marcel. I think that was his name. Is that his name, Marcel? Yeah, the cop, the bad cop, because again they're cops, so they were gonna be the ones to cover it up or whatever. And then Joey, because Marcel and Joey are cool or whatever. And so I can't remember how Joey was involved in the beginning. I know how he got involved at the end, but in the beginning I'm not really sure. But yeah, those were all the guys that were in on the cover up. So the guy comes back and he wants to get more money. Martin wants to pay him off, but Bill is just like, nah, we can't just keep paying this man off. Like, that's not gonna work. Which I was with Bill on this. Like, this racist man, because he was making all these innuendos when like talking about you people and all this other stuff, and I was just like, that man ain't getting a lick of my money. So he's blackmailing Martin. He's trying to, trying to get him to pay him off, pay him some more money, and like pay him like on a regular basis. And he's like asking for like 100,000 every week or something like that. And Martin's just like, okay, fine, whatever. So they make this plan to give him the money, and or they tell Vernon and Bill, I mean, they tell Vernon and Martin that they're going to give the man the money, XYZ. So they give him the spot. He goes to Joey's casino to get the money. He meets up with Bill, if I'm not mistaken. I think he meets with Bill, and Bill lets him know this is the money, this is all you're going to get. If you come back again, it ain't going to be good for you. So the guy is sitting there counting his money, and Randy shows up because prior to him coming there, Joey had told Randy, you know what you need to do. So Randy shows up. I think that's his name. Yeah, Randy shows up, and he like, he has his, he has his pew pew on him, and he's like, let's go. So we leave. They leave, and we assume that Randy does what he's supposed to do. But of course he doesn't. So he comes back, and he gives Joey the pew pew, and he's just like, yeah, everything's all set. Blah 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 blah. Here's your money, because he's supposed to do what he need to do and take that money and bring it back to Joey, because Joey's getting paid off of that money or whatever. So Joey's like, Randy's trying to leave. Joey's trying to count the money. He finds out that some of the money is missing. We get to Martin's house, and Martin comes in the house, and Terrell is over there talking to the guy because he becomes friends with him um, over the internet. And it's just like, Terrell, you too old to be letting people that you met online into your house. Like, how old are you? Why are you acting slow? Why are you acting dumb? Like, that irritated me. So Martin kicks the guy out, and he's just like, oh my God, I thought this, he gets all like frantic. He goes to Bill, and he's just like, Bill, that man was at my house, da 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 da, this, and that. He the next day, like, Samantha goes out, and after he done told all of them, like, y'all need to stop talking to strangers, like, and Samantha's over here, she meets up with him because he comes, and like Martin comes and hits him, and it was just like, it was a whole big thing because them kids was just being real stupid. So what's it called, Martin decides to call the press conference because he's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna tell like what happened, and whatever happens, happens. Like, I can't, do this. And while he's doing all of this, Smitty is looking into Marcel because he was doing that paper on him. So him and Jacob are like trying to figure out where, like, how dirty Marcel is. And so all of this is happening, and not Jacob, what's his name? Martin doesn't want to tell Smitty, and it's just like, sir, like, at this point, like, it done hit the fan. Talk to your husband. Like, this man has infiltrated your life. He's at the country club. He's come to your house. Like, tell your husband what's going on so that he knows how to prepare for this stuff. So Martin decides to do this press conference, and as he's doing the press conference, Bill and Vernon are trying to stop him, and he's just like, "No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it." And it's just like, "Sir, like, I guess." So as he's doing it, Bill, because the what's it called, the guy shows up at the, if I'm not mistaken, he he shows up at Orphe Jeans because that's where he was going to do the press conference, because this was prior to this was, so sorry, let me say that again. The guy, I can't remember his name, but he shows up at Orphe Jeans because Martin is going to do the press conference. Prior to him showing up at Orphe Jeans, he runs into Smitty, and he basically tells Smitty that Martin is like is paying him off or X, Y, and Z, but he doesn't tell Smitty why, and Smitty automatically assumes the worst of his husband, and it's just like, sir, I understand, but at the same time, it's just like, sir. So, so Martin's trying to do this press conference. The guy shows up at Orphe Jeans, and Marcel shows up behind him. He has a pew pew to his back. They walk off. Next scene, we see Martin. We see Martin getting ready to talk, and Bill shows him a picture of the guy he's been clapped. So he's no longer with us because Marcel did what he was supposed to do because Randy couldn't. So Martin cancels the press conference. He goes home, and he tells his family what happens. Um, he tells them everything except for what happened to the guy. So he lets them know that guy, who the guy was and whatever. So Smitty is mad because he didn't tell him 2 years ago, and he kicks him out the house. And it's just like, I understand that, yeah, he didn't tell you what was up. Like, yeah, that was wrong. But that's not your house, Smitty. I'm just being petty at this point. Because, yeah, I probably would have kicked him out too. Like, for a little bit, like, just for a little bit, just for a little bit. But yeah, so at this point where we're now at in the show, they're still separated and they're slowly working their way back together because, and unless we'll just talk about it now. So now that we're here, so we find out. So Naomi, she's been working with June or whatever, trying to get this lady back and find out who them kids was in the pictures. Find out the kids in the pictures are Samantha and Terrell. So so before, like, that's what we find out. But before all of that, what's her name? Naomi. She has a picture. There's a number on the back. She takes a number. She calls the number. It happens to be June's sister. She calls her. The girl comes and Naomi shows her Regina. That's her name. Regina comes to Orphe Jeans, or Naomi went to Regina, and Regina was just like, "Leave me alone! Don't talk to me! Get away from me!" She left her card. She comes back to Orphe Jeans, and then Regina shows up, and they talking, and she shows her the picture, and she's just like, "Oh my God, those are my niece and nephew. Those were June's kids." June shows up. She acting like she don't know who this lady is. She acting like those are her kids. She just acting or whatever. I don't know. She was acting, honestly. She didn't want to. She ain't want to like say, okay, yeah, that was it, whatever. Um, so Naomi, Regina, she came back again or whatever after she ran into June, and June was just like, "Get away from me! I don't know you." Da 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 da. She leaves. She comes back and she brings a box of June's things to give to June, or give to Naomi to give to June. And in there is a letter. And in the letter, June basically said that she's the one who called CPS on herself because she couldn't take care of those kids, and she didn't want anything bad to happen to them because she was like leaving them where she was. So she's the one who called CPS on herself or whatever. So she starts to remember, June starts to remember. So she's with her sister, and her sister is just like, "Oh my God," they make up or whatever, and then they're going to stay together. And as they're doing all of that, we find out that it's a closed adoption. So Naomi, being Naomi, she's digging into it to find out who these kids are, where they wound up, and all this other stuff. And it was just like, girl, it was a closed adoption for a reason. Like, why would you do all of that? Like, girl, So that irritated me. I was so disappointed in Naomi, but whatever. I've been disappointed in Naomi for a couple of things because she been popped up in a different little stories that have been irritating me. But Naomi she on my list. She semi sort of on my list. It's NA on my list right now. The rest of it about to get filled in. We'll see what happens in the next couple of episodes. So she asks Jacob to see if she can go to the adoption place, to see if she can talk to the people and get the information or whatever. So Jacob goes and he uses his badge, even though, and we're gonna get back to him. He uses his badge to find out who the kids are and where they ended up, and then he comes back and he tells Naomi, "Yeah, them kids is Samantha and Tyrell. They with your cousin. So yeah, what we gonna do?" So she takes her big head self over to Martin and Smitty's to tell them, "We found a mama." Like, girl, excuse me? Like, are you okay? Like, why would you bring that to them? Like, you took you basically took June's side over your blood cousin side. Because what? Like, what was the reason? Why would, like, I don't get it. So the kids say they want to see her. Tyrell, not really, but Samantha wants to see her. So Naomi sets it up. So June goes to go see the kids. She talks to them. They, basically they tell her, like, we're good, we're gonna be good, and we good, like, that's it, we're good, we ended up somewhere good, so we're good. So she wants to see them again, and they don't want to see her, so they tell her, I mean, they tell Martin and Smitty, like, "Yeah, we met her once, that's all we need, we remember her, but we don't need to continue to have a relationship with her, we're fine where we're at." So they tell like Naomi was just like she calls them and she's just like, oh, June wants to know when she can see the kids again, and they're just like, yeah, the kids don't want to see her, so we're just gonna leave it at that. And this at this point, again, Martin and Smitty have been separated after everything that happened. So he comes like he's just like, I'm gonna come back home. I'm gonna sleep on the couch because of everything that's going on with the kids. Like, yeah. So they're still together, but they're not together. And they had a cute little family scene where they played spades. I was just like, see, this is a black show. This is what I like. That was so cute. But anyway, so June finds out that the kids don't want to see her no more, and she goes off on Naomi, and she's just like, "This is your fault. You got my hopes up about seeing my kids and being with my kids, and you should have just left well enough alone." And she was telling all the truths. Naomi needed to hear that, so June leaves and she goes to the house to Martin and Smitty's because she wants to, tell the kids, whatever. So she was just like, "I know they're there. She's going, whatever." So they come down, they see her. She had ripped up the picture, so they gave her a new one, like a new picture of them older. And she was just like, "Thank you for saying goodbye to me." Like, because they're just like, "Yeah, we don't need to see you no more." She was just like, "I understand, but thank you for saying goodbye to me," because she wants to say bye. So she leaves. Naomi comes and gets her because they find out where she is because they were looking for her. So she leaves and she tells Naomi and Jacob that she's going to do better and she wants to be right for whenever they're ready to see her again. So I don't know if that's the last that we see of June. I like June. I don't know what else we could. I like it's just like I like that the show has like they have characters on here that really would like they have their arcs and then they dip. So I like that we had those characters on the show. So I think June's arc is like done now that we know who her kids are. She's met her kids. So I think at this point she's probably done with the show. And if the kids like later down the line she may come back because the kids want to get to, like something happens and they need her and all this other stuff, that's probably what when we'll see her again. But at this point, I don't think we're gonna see her for some time because again, there's no need for her right now. So that was good. So that was Martin's part of what's been going on. So now we're gonna get to um his mama. What's his mama's name? Nicole. Nicole. So Nicole, Nicole really has been relegated to the back. Like she's here and there, but she ain't really got no story. And I'm so pissed because it's just like we should be seeing more of her than we are Leslie. Now, I like the character of Leslie because she's a great villain, but at this point in the show, it's annoying that her and Eva both keep getting wins and Nicole and Kat keep losing. Cause it's like y'all at the end of the day, y'all were in the wrong. Eva and Leslie, y'all did them wrong. I'm not gonna fault Leslie for cheating because I mean not Martin, Ted is the one who cheated. Like he's the one who cheated on Nicole because he's the one that was in a committed marriage. If she knew, and she at some point she knew and continued sleeping with this man, that's where I'll fault her. But the initial cheating, I'm not gonna fault you on that. Can't be mad at you about that. Couldn't be mad at you about like once you found out and you continued, I can be mad about you about that, but I'm not going to come after you as a woman who's been who if I was in Nicole's place, I wouldn't come after you unless you were coming after me, which is what Leslie is doing. Leslie is actively going after Nicole for whatever reason we don't know, because it's just like Nicole hasn't done anything to her. Nicole doesn't know her. Everything that Leslie has done is been to Nicole. Nicole hasn't done anything to her. And it's like, it's annoying that she keeps winning because at this point in the story, so we'll go ahead and get to it. So Nicole finds out about what happened to Martin. She goes off on her mama and daddy because it was just y'all didn't tell me about this big thing that's happened to my son. I could be helping him. I'm a psychiatrist. This is what I do for a living. I could have helped him through this, and y'all didn't tell me about this. Then she goes off on Ted because Ted knew about it and didn't tell her. And in this moment, I was I wasn't on Nicole's side for her. I because it's like in one instance I understand why she was mad at Ted. In the other instance, I feel like, girl, it's like he was trying to help. At the end of the day, your son had a parent. Like Ted said, like you want me, like me telling him, you want me to tell him that I fixed the guy who he almost beat to the, who he beat to a pulp, and you want me to be a constant reminder of the worst night of his life? Like, no, I'm not going to say nothing about it. I didn't tell you because we were trying to, sorry, we were trying to keep you out of it, like so that you wouldn't have any, you wouldn't have nothing on your hands. You could be clean, like, so it's just like I understand why they didn't tell her, but at the same time, that is her kid, her child, so her firstborn, her baby. Like, I understand why, it's just like, yeah, you should have told me. I understand it, but at the same time, it's just like, girl, the person you need to be mad at is honestly your son, your dad, your son, your daddy, and your mama. Your husband, I don't think you should really be mad at him because he was there for your son. If he didn't tell you, again, take that up with your son, your daddy, and your mama, because they the ones who tried to keep it like on a tight lid. Nobody knew about it. So you going off on Ted and all that other stuff, it was just like, okay, girl, whatever. So she goes off on Ted and she basically tells him, yeah, no, the there was whatever we might have had for us to rekindle this marriage is now null and void, and yeah, you need these next steps is you not gonna like. So it's just like, okay, girl. So she she helped. She's now starting to help Martin go through the process, and she's gonna be his psychiatrist or whatever to help him through this or whatever. So like I said, she really wasn't, like, not a lot happened with her, so it's like I can't remember all the stuff that like did happen with her. Like, I know she choked out Leslie because I want to say Leslie, I don't know if she approached Leslie or Leslie approached her, but they was at Orphe Jeans and she choked her out. And Leslie tried to file charges on her, and it was just like, girl, whatever. She had put makeup on her neck or whatever to make it seem like she had a bruise. And um after Jacob came to ask her Nicole questions and what happened, and he went to go talk to Ted, and Ted was just like, yeah, I didn't see nothing. And it was just like, yeah, you better not be on Leslie's side, because you already on my list as is anyway, Ted. So after they can't, they're not gonna arrest her or whatever. She goes to Leslie's and she was just like, oh, I see, she wipes the makeup off of her neck, and she was just like, touche, I got you. Be forewarned. Just be forewarned. So um, that's really all that we've been seeing with oh wait, no, she went on a date with Carlton. So after the Articulates had their concert, Leslie showed up, and what's that boy's Carlton, like he like takes charge, and he's just like, he sits by Leslie to make sure that she don't cause a scene or whatever. So she goes on a date with she goes on a date with Carlton, or like a lunch or whatever. She serves Ted with divorce papers, and Ted is just like, I'm fighting for my marriage. And it was just like, sir, you ain't been fighting for your marriage, so whatever. So that's really all that has been going on with Nicole. Not a lot has been going on with Nicole. Um, okay, so the next set of things is Chelsea, and this is quick. Chelsea and her girlfriend Madison. Um, yeah, her girlfriend is Madison, and the other one that she was in a throuple with, that she wanted to have a relationship with, but the girl was just like, no, I can't leave my husband. I can't think of her name. Allison. I think that's Allison. Yeah, Madison. Okay, yeah. So Allison, she's now back in the picture. She crazy. She is stalking Chelsea. She's showing up everywhere Chelsea is. She's trying to make it seem like her husband is beating on her, but we really don't know if that's the case. And she shows up whenever Chelsea's on a date with Madison. Um, she says all these things like, yeah, you would be good with me, we're soulmates. And it's just like, girl, she tried to be with you and you said no. So what is it? Like, for real, what is it? Girl, stop. So um, she shows up at Orphe Jeans when Chelsea was there with Kat, and Kat had left, and she shows up and she's like bruised up. So Chelsea takes her to the hospital. Madison looks over her like, she's the doctor on call, or that's there, and looks over her and checks to, make sure she's okay. And Madison basically tells Chelsea like, that girl, she could be lying, just be careful, watch your back, all this other stuff. So Chelsea tells her, look, I helped you with this instance, and this is the last time I'm gonna help you. Leave me alone. If you need, like, I can give you my daddy's number so you can call you a lawyer so you can get a restraining order against your husband who is beating on you if that's the case. But as for me and I'm done. Like, this is the last. So she shows up again and she like causes a scene at the country club. And Chelsea was just like, girl, I'm going to get a restraining order on you if you don't leave me alone. And it was just like, girl, you should have been got that restraining order. But I digress. Your daddy is a lawyer. Your sister's a lawyer. You should have been got that restraining order. So anyway, so Chelsea and Chelsea and Kat. So we're at like, and this is like, I'm also giving a little bit of what's going on now in the recent episodes. I'm gonna give a more detailed. I think I'm gonna give a detailed breakdown of what's happened this week, so we can get back on track. But in this last episode, in these last weeks, Chelsea Kat is having their launch party, and then Chelsea gets kidnapped. We don't know who. It looked like it was Allison, but we shall find out next week. Chelsea Cat, they had that lawsuit. It was settled off screen, so that was that. Um, what else has been happening? Um, oh, Bill Haley, Andre. Oh my God, that's a whole other stuff. Let's get to that. So, child, when I tell you, these last couple of weeks has been irritating me because we have seen Ashley, Derek, Andre way too much. So we know that Ashley and Derek broke up because they lived together. It didn't work out. He then proposed to her, and she was just like, no, because it was just like, it don't make no sense. We can't live together, but you want us to get married. That don't make no sense. So they broke up. He starts to try to date Shanice to make Ashley jealous. And it was just like, Shanice is just like, yeah, I could be that for right now, but I'm not. I don't do messy, so we can be friends, and that's all that we gonna be. Um, Ashley goes on a date with Andre to Uptown, and what's it called? What's her name? What is her name? My favorite, Danny. Danny shows up, and this is after um, she's told, what's it called? Nicole at this point that her and Andre are, they're doing whatever. They don't know what they are, but they're something. And Nicole, her and Nicole had a little tiff at that point because Nicole was just like, why would you date him? Like, that's my nephew, da 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 da. And now you're another person lying to me. So Nicole's just feeling like everybody lying to her. So she's just like squirming or whatever. Nicole tells her, you're gonna get hurt anyway. So what's her name? Danny shows up at not Orphe Jeans, at Uptown, and she sees them together. So she bombards their date, and she basically she's giving all these one liners. Like, they give Danny the best one liners. She really has the best one liners. So so she bombards their date, and Ashley is none the wiser. She can't tell that nothing is going on with them, but she, like Danny said, she bland, unseasoned chicken, girl. So after the date, Andre goes back to Danny to be like, what was that? Why you do all of that? Da, 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 da. And then they end up sleeping together because that's who he's attracted to, but he wants Ashley for whatever reason. I don't know. But I digress. So Ashley is now like, she now thinks she wants to be with Andre. So her Andre had told her something, she had told Andre something about Paris and all this other stuff. So he invites her to his place and he like brings Paris to her, whatever. So she's just like, oh my God, I love him and I want to be with him. And so she's telling her mom and she's telling Naomi how she wants to be with, I don't, did she tell Naomi she wanted to be with Andre? I don't think she told Naomi, but I know she told her mom that she wanted to be with Andre. And her mom was just like, why would you want to be with him? He's just like a world traveler. He's a cheater. He's a player. He's this and that. And she's just like, what if I want to travel? What if I can be a travel nurse. I can go to different places. I couldn't do any of that with Derek. I just wanted to be adventurous. It was no adventure. And it's just like, girl, when, hold on, let me put some chapstick on. I ain't realized my lips was this chapped. My bad, y'all. So, it was just like when you was, I'm so sorry, but oh, that's better. Sorry about that. But girl, you was mad at the fact that that man, he's a firefighter, first of all. So he it's a every day could be dangerous or adventurous for him. You was mad at this man for going back into a burning building to save a pet, and now you want to say that you want to be with Andre because you can be adventurous with him. Girl, adventure was nowhere in the room when you was with Derek. You never talked about adventure. You was mad at the adventure that he was doing. So what? So irritating on that front. So she talks to Andre, they make out, and Andre is just like, I know what I want. I want to be with you. She's all excited. She's, saying, I want to be with you. So they've decided that they're going to be together. He tells her, I'm going to tell the other woman that I'm talking to that, I picked you. And she was just like, okay, cool, whoop-de-woo. Her mama went and talked to Derek and was just like, go and fight for your woman. Let her know you love her, that you want to be with her, and, don't lose her. So Derek shows up at her house. He tells her, like, I want to be with you. I'm going to work at this. We can do whatever we need to do. We going to do it to make it work. And she was just like, yeah, I pick Andre. So she goes back. She goes to tell Andre that she picked him, which he already knew. So why are you going back to tell him IDK? And she walks in on him kissing Danny. And so she gets mad, she leaves, and now she doesn't want to be with him because he was kissing the other woman. And it was just like, first of all, it don't matter who the other woman was. You knew there was another woman. So for you to get mad at the fact that the other woman was Danny, miss me with that. Number one. Number two, again, you knew that there was another woman, and he told you he was going to break it off with that other woman. You don't know if what was happening in that moment, you just assumed that he didn't break it off with that other woman. Mind you, it was all in the same day. So if he's telling you, I'm going to break it off with this other woman, give him a chance to break it off with the other woman. You going back to him an hour after he told you that is your fault. And you're dummy. You're a dummy. You really are a dummy. So she tells him, we can't be together. I'm good on you. You a player, X, Y, and Z, whatever. Derek, being the dummy that he is, decides to enter into a triathlon or a biathlon, whatever them things are called, like a marathon. He decides to run a marathon, and he decides to start training for it the day before the actual marathon. Big dummy. So he goes to the he does the marathon. He's doing the bike part, and he falls over the bike. Something happens to him. He has to get surgery. He can't feel his legs, so now he can't walk. Ashley has now decided, I love Derek. I don't want to be without Derek. I'm going to stick beside Derek because he got hurt. When I tell you, that whole storyline pissed me off because it was just like, sorry, y'all, you did all of that just to still be with this man because he got hurt. So now that when the man could walk, and he offered you the moon, stars, and everything in between. You didn't want to be with him. Now that he can't walk and he can't offer you the moon, stars, and everything in between anymore, now you want to be with him because you found out that the other woman was Danny. That's why. What? Child. So, anyways, so she broke it off with Andre. Andre don't know why. She tells him, I know that the other woman is Danny. And he's just like, okay, and like, again, you knew there was another woman. So why are you mad at who the woman was? It does not matter who the actual woman was. You knew there was another woman in the picture. What is the issue? So he tries to talk to her again. And he basically tells her what happens. Like, um, Danny had came over because something happened. And I'm gonna get to that. Something happened. I was trying to calm her down. We kissed, but we didn't do anything, and I broke it off. I broke it off with her the next morning because she was in a traumatic state. So I didn't want to like let her down more again, which is understandable. She understands it, and she's just like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I still want to be with Derek. He's going through it right now, so I have to be there for him." So you find out what really happened and you still end it with him. And it's less, it's like, Andre, that's what your dumb behind get. That's exactly what you get. You left Danny to be with Miss Bland and now she don't want to be with you. So that's what you get. Don't go running back to Danny, which he does, but yeah, that's what you get. So now on to the Danny of it all. So um Haley's pregnant. Let me stop. Okay, so Haley is pregnant, and she, I can't remember if, I think this happened after, so I we didn't talk about it. So the whole everything that happened with Martin, Vernon kept calling Bill, and Bill was just like, "You need to give me respect. You need to give my wife respect." And Vernon put him in his place, and he still made him help. Bill went to Danny to talk to her about it, or they met up at, they was like, they were at the club, and Danny was talking to him about um his his dad. So basically, Bill didn't have a good relationship with his dad, and he's always wanted that from Vernon, and he could have had that with Vernon had he not did Vernon's daughter dirty. So, sir, I don't know what to tell you. Whatever. So they talk about that, and then that was one day, and then another day again, Vernon had called on Bill about something, or had went off on Bill about his plan, about getting the racist man, like taken out. And it was just like, I was with Bill on that. Like, take that man out. Vernon, be quiet. So after all of that, like around that time that that was happening, he had went to Danny's house to talk to her, and they had like a good little conversation. I can't remember what they talked about, but they had a good little civil conversation. I think he apologized to her and all this other stuff. And Haley was looking for her husband. So she drove by Danny's house and she seen that her husband was there. So after her husband left, she goes to Danny's house and picks a fight with Danny. And Danny was cutting her up as she always does. And then she doubles over in pain. So um, Danny takes her to the hospital, thinking that, the girl thinks she's having a miscarriage. And Danny was just like, "Girl, you're not pregnant. You're not missing nothing." So she takes her to the hospital, and they tell her everything's all right, everything's good with the baby. Danny had called Bill to come, and Bill comes, and of course Haley is blaming it on Danny, and it's just like, girl, you the one that came to my house. You the one that came and picked a fight with me. You should have left me alone. If you looking for your husband, you need to go talk to your husband and find out why he's at my house. Why are you coming to my house? Like, you done already stole him from me. Why are you still bothering me? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But Haley, She wants what Danny has, but she can never be. She wants to be Danny, but she can never be Danny. So she's always gonna pick something about Danny, and it's just like, girl, relax. So so they're at the hospital, and when they leave the hospital, what's it called? Haley was asking, not Haley, Ashley was asking the other nurse on file to like, oh, I don't see the ultrasound in Miss Hamilton's chart. Where is it? And she's just like, oh, she declined an ultrasound. And it's just like, why you declined an ultrasound when you thought you was having a miscarriage, Miss Haley? What's that about? Hmm. So she had child, Haley is we're gonna get to it. So Haley shows Bill the ultrasound that she did not have. Where she got that ultrasound from, we don't know. Well, no, we do find out, but in this moment, we don't know because it's just like, girl, you didn't get an ultrasound. So what? So she shows the ultrasound to him. He's all excited about becoming a dad again, all this other stuff. Haley is still acting like she is like, she's just moving along in her pregnancy. She's starting to have all these cravings and stuff. And she's at Orphe Jeans and she's trying to reconnect with Ashley. And Ashley is just like, you're not even showing. Like, you're not even in that at that point in your pregnancy where you would be craving stuff. So what is this all about? And she's like, talking all around it or whatever. Um, what else happened? Oh, she goes to the office, her work. She goes to work and she trips over a box. Child falls boom right on her stomach. And sorry about the noise. But she falls on her stomach, and Bill wants to take her to the hospital, and she's just like, no, I'm okay, you don't need to go to the hospital, everything's okay, we're fine. He was just like, no, you gotta go to the hospital. She was just like, no, you have to go out tonight for whatever. When you get back, we'll go to the hospital if I feel any different, X, Y, and Z or whatever. So he was just like, all right, well, I already scheduled the appointment, we're going tomorrow. Since you don't want to go today, we're going tomorrow in the morning, I'll be back, whatever. So we see Danny and Pamela at the club because they're just, that's her best friend. They talking about their business because Pamela wants her to model and she does some test shoots, so she's deciding that she's going to get back into the modeling. So they're at the Uptown and they're talking, and then they said something about Haley, and here come Haley popping up like the roach that she is. And she's like trying to go in on Danny, and Danny is just sitting there like, girl, if you don't take your prepubescent behind away from me. And like she starts in with Danny, and Danny is giving it back just like she always does. And Pamela leaves because she's just like, all right, I'm good on this. So she leaves, and Haley, Danny and Haley continue to go at it, and then Haley walks away. She goes to the bathroom, and then she comes out screaming like, "Oh my God, something's happened with my baby!" And you see blood everywhere. Um, so Danny is just like, "Oh my God, she's pregnant. Let me help you." And she's just like, "No, stay away from me. It's all your fault." Da, 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 all this other stuff. And she was just like, "We need to get you to the hospital." And she was just like, "No, you can't take me. You take me." So she points to a guy, and the guy comes out of nowhere. And the guy comes, and he was just like, "What's your name?" And he was just like, "Sammy." And she was just like, "Can you take me to the hospital?" Da, 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 da. So they leave. The guy that comes out of nowhere that she picks is Randy. Mind you, Randy was supposed to have been left town because Joey been looking for him because he stole some of Joey's money. So you back. Mind you, and between all of this, again, I'm just going back and I'm just jumping from here and there. Sorry. So between all of this, we see between all of that, we see that Haley's been making phone calls to somebody. We don't know who, like talking about, okay, we got to do this. I need you to do this. Thank you for helping me with that. Da, 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 some stuff. And it's just like, who are you talking to? Are you really pregnant? So he takes her to the hospital and she leaves her purse behind. So Danny calls Bill and tells him, hey, something happens. You need to get back here because Bill is on his way. He's about to leave. And so before he gets on a plane, so he runs back and he goes to the hospital and she not there. He comes home and Naomi is there because, again, sorry, I'm jumping around. So let me start again. She goes to the hospital. At the same time that we see her going to the hospital, Ashley is having her crisis of she trying to figure out who she want to be with. She talking to Naomi, and she's telling Naomi because Naomi says something about Haley and the baby, and Naomi and Ashley's just like because she said something about the ultrasound. She's seen the ultrasound picture because Bill has showed it to her, and Ashley's just like that can't be because she never got one. She basically tells her that, like, she tells her and tries to make it seem like she's talking about somebody, but she's not saying who it is. So Naomi goes to confront Haley, and when she gets there, she was just like, "So what is this about you not getting the ultrasound, but you show my daddy one? Where'd you get that from?" And as she's doing that, Bill comes in, and Bill is just like, "I went to the hospital, and they told me that you weren't there." And she's just like, "Oh snap!" And he was just like, "What happened?" And she was just like, "I had a miscarriage. I lost the baby." And it's just like, oh. You lost the baby in 5 minutes. So you was in the hospital. You lost the baby and you came right back home. You didn't stay in the hospital. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So Danny is still at Uptown. She still got the girl's purse, and she's just like, like wondering what happened. She's hoping that nothing bad has happened. X, Y, and Z. So Randy comes back. Randy comes back looking for what's it called purse, and Danny was just like, "I'll take it to her because like, who are you? Like for real, who are you?" And he was just like, she was adamant that you don't come near her X, Y, and Z. So no, and it was just like, hmm. So she gives him the purse, he leaves. But it's just like all of this happened in too quick of a second for you to really have had a miscarriage. So did you really have the baby? Were you ever really pregnant? So, anyways, so Danny finds out that she had a miscarriage. That's when she goes to Andre and she's telling Andre what it is. And Andre low key pissed me off because he semi sort of made it seem like it was Danny's fault, but then at the same time said it's not your fault. She approached you even though y'all been going back and forth. It's not your fault that you lost a baby. So I was just like, okay, you better had said that because yeah, Andre was yeah. So back to Haley, Bill, and Naomi, because Naomi is at the house now, and she just told Bill that she lost the baby. So she asked Bill for tea, and Bill goes, and Naomi was just like, "Why didn't you like? I came in here asking about a miscarriage. Why didn't you just tell me that you lost the baby? Like, why would you?" And she was just like, "Because I wanted to tell your dad first." And I was just like, "Girl, you know, you lied because you didn't know that he was coming home. You were shocked. You were scared that he was home because that wasn't going to fall into your plan, which is now making sense to me." So, so Naomi asked. So my computer had shut off on me in this moment, and I came back on and recorded the rest of this recap. But at the end of that one that I did, I decided to just go ahead and make a part two for this because it was like over an hour long. Because again, this was a lot of episodes that I was recapping. I'm trying to give you like a quick overview, but you can't really do a quick overview with five a show that has 5 episodes that comes on every day of the week. So come back for part two. If you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.